we just had a big conversation on the possibility of China ending, Hollywood movies being, as a negotiating tactics with the United States. They might ban all Hollywood films, and what kind of impact that would do. And we kind of got off in other little areas there about Hollywood, and so I think it leads really well into the next topic, which is what does Hollywood actually need to do to fix itself, because it is struggling right now. It's struggling in the box office. It's struggling to have billion-dollar movies again, let alone $2 billion movies.
Easy.
And everybody's going to the film coming out and saying, at almost every film you see. And that even goes for TV and in the theaters. So what does it need to do to fix itself? Mark says it's easy.
Easy answer.
Okay.
You've got to get rid of everyone in the decision-making roles that they're in.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Just
get rid of
everyone gone.
Who's making the decisions on, well, we're going to do this movie because it's got these elements in it, and we'll change the script to add these elements. No, you need to take the script, adapt it for a good movie, and run with it. Don't try to add things to appeal to any audience except for a broad audience. Everybody, not small groups. Because when you make a movie directed to a small group, you alienate everyone outside of that group. Whether I know you're trying to be inclusive, but it's not inclusive.
Okay, what do you think?
Okay, so I said this term before, 4-quadrant film. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you look at over 25 and under 25, male and female, those are 4 quadrants. Okay, that's one strategy. You have to make an appealing movie that hits all 4 quadrants. For example...
For a blockbuster.
Yeah, so it has a little bit of drama, a little bit of action, a little bit of humor, and it's appropriate for old and young, male and female. Back to the Future. Jurassic Park. Okay, awesome. They're going to make a lot of money. The other way to do it is the Minecraft way. Is you pick your quadrant and you throw everything at that quadrant.
Yeah.
But don't pick... This is for this community. Mm-hmm. Okay. Pick an IP. The fans of this IP love this. It doesn't matter what color you are, what gender you are, whatever. And you throw everything that they're going to love at that. And then you're going to get a Minecraft that's going to make $1 billion. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you either have to 4-quadrant it, make it very appealing, or 1 quadrant.
Very specific to a broad quadrant.
Yeah. Now, what they unfortunately did for Marvel films, Star Wars films, is they said, well, we're going to have this IP, and we're going to 4-quadrant it, but we're really going to focus on gaining the female audience. Well, the original fans of Star Wars were probably majority male.
You can only do this with original IPs. You can't take an IP that already has a fan base and try to change the fan base.
Exactly. But if you're also trying to make a new IP, who are you focusing on? I think people who like Star Wars would like this. So I'm not going to make it focused for 12-year-olds. I'm going to make it focused for this.
Right?
Because they already love it.
Like, you're not going to make a Barbie movie for boys.
Right.
Right? Like, and leave the girls out of it. That's only for boys. Mm-hmm. That's basically what they did with Star Wars with girls.
Yeah. So I think you have to do one of those two things. You can't go halfway or target it towards the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with both of you. And one of the big things, well, basically what we're almost saying is stop making movies for modern audiences, just make movies.
That's part of it, yeah.
Right? Like, the big selling point when the CEO took over for Star Wars was, guys, look, we have all the guys in the world are watching Star Wars. They can't wait for Star Wars. They live and die by Star Wars. Imagine what would happen if the females thought the same way. Mm-hmm. Let's do that. But what they did was, they made it for that audience, and they lost the audience that they already had. It took a few movies.
And I don't think they gained a large majority of women. Like, honestly.
No, it didn't catch on as much as they wanted to. Unlike, say, a movie like Wonder Woman, which skewed very heavy towards male and female audiences. They found a balance where they had an original character and one that females enjoyed.
For the first Wonder Woman,
Yeah, but then they went with, for instance, Marvel. Like, how many people were defending, it's not the MCU, it's not the MCU near the end, and then they had to come out and admit that it's kind of hard to defend the MCU when it actually becomes true, because every character they announced was being overshadowed by another female character. Mm-hmm. Whether it's Hawkeye, whether in Doctor Strange, it's always, what was Loki, female Loki, it's always that. And they went too heavy into it.
I think another thing is that a lot of movies are spending a lot of money. And so let's say Snow White. Okay, just as an example,
Yeah.
it probably cost upwards of $300 million.
Without advertising.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking, okay, well, if you're not producing something that people are going to say, wow, that must have took a lot of money to make, like, is it worth spending that $300 million? Like, a lot of films that are not going to make $300 million are spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they spend this money on stuff, but it's not on the stuff that's going to make the movie good. It's just stuff that they have to do to make this movie. Mm-hmm. So, is it worth it?
Well, that's one of the things that Mark was saying. Get rid of the hierarchy that are making these decisions to keep spending money on a failing project, instead of learning when you're not going to get successful.
They've got to go back to movie making 101. Forget all of these new people coming in with the these modern ideas, and just go back to the basics. Who are we making the movie for? Let's make it the best movie we can make it. If we're making a funny movie, let's make it as funny as possible. Let's not worry about who we're going to offend. Let's not worry about offending anyone. Let's try to offend people, because that's funny.
Yeah, but whether it's changing or not, I still think we live in a cancel culture. And it would be affected at the box office.
But I think...
You know what else is being affected is making bad movies.
I think it's less affected, like, cancel culture's kind of switched around now to people who are trying to do the modern movies and change things, like Snow White. Look at all the videos and everything across YouTube that were lambasting the movie before it even showed up.
Yeah, where it used to be, like, a cancel culture against offending people, now there's a cancel culture fighting back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you get it from both ends.
Yeah.
But...
You're not a stranger to that. Sorry. Continue.
Okay, I also think that there's something wrong in when they get the script, they're not having the right people do the final reading and approving the final script. Because we just watched The Amateur.
Yeah.
And anybody who read that script would go through it and say, well, I see what you're doing, but it's kind of underwhelming here and here and here.
Yeah.
But make it better. You know, and they didn't. And so they released something that is meh, and they're not going to make the money back, and so they're going to stop making those kind of movies.
Right.
Where
it could have been improved with a couple of tweaks.
Like test screenings, although try to get away from that because then it just leads to reshoots of a bad movie.
Well, how's somebody who knows what they're talking... Hey, that was an enjoyable movie, but you know what? It's too slow here, it's too slow there. If you cut this out and make it more of make more action, it'll be much more popular. Somebody who can come in and do that, as opposed to just letting the director do whatever he wants when he's filming it. Here's the script, and he films whatever he wants, and I'm making an emotional drama action film. No, you didn't. You made a longer movie that made it more boring.
Now, it might have been a bad example because that movie was based on a book, and so they're probably thinking, oh, we got to do what the book says.
You can still make it better.
Yeah. But,
You know? Well, we said Snow White. Perfect example of Snow White is you got the classic songs, right? Whistle While You Work, Hi Ho, you know, those are classic songs. Those are the best part of the movie. And then they add new songs because they have to add new stuff. And they are all garbage. Princess Problems, a garbage song. And the whole, we can't have Prince Charming. We gotta have thieves in there now, and there's 7 thieves. What a coincidence. There's 7 and 7, right? And they add stuff in that doesn't need to be there. It changes the story, it makes people not want to go see it, but they're doing it for the modern audience. Stop doing that.
And flopped. I think what they have to do is they have to look at who's going to see it. And in what dynamic.
Well, you know what the problem is? Hollywood? Nobody's going to see your films. That's who's going to see it.
Dunson Grove.
That's a good place. 10 minutes.
I was about to make a point, but okay.
But were you?
Yes. A good one, too.